Right, let's talk golf ball position today, and I want you to try and start thinking of ball position as more of a playing field of positions rather than that you need to have it in the exact correct position. Let's start with the driver. So let's define ball position. Let's have a playing ball position. So my playing ball position with the driver is going to be anywhere between inside my left toe, my lead foot toe, to my front foot, to maybe 2 inches back of my heel. Anywhere in between there I can hit a functional shot, but the shot might change its shape, its trajectory, where it starts. All these things I can game. Now with the other clubs with more loft, what you're going to find is you're going to have a playing area. So this one's say a few inches between left big toe and just inside. Then you're going to have a big recovery area, which we'll come to in a second. With the driver, you don't really have that. You're down at your lowest loft, you're going to need launch. So general playing area for me would be ball position just inside left heel. So forward in my stance, this encourages my upward attack. This gives me a bit more time to get that club out in front of me. If I put the ball far back in my stance, so towards my right foot, I'm going to literally start the ball out to the right. I'm not going to have time to get the face to recover. And because this is a low lofted club, it's going to go low. Now that leads me on to your playing positions between the left big toe and inside your heel. The more we can get away from thinking there is a ball position which works, like there's the right ball position, the better golfers will be. So I have my standard ball position. This creates my standard, ideally repeatable shot. Now for you, you might have a repeatable little fade. So your standard ball position is going to be up towards the big toe as a general rule, because what happens if my club zeroes around an inch inside my left heel, anything forward of that, the club starts pointing more left. If I want to hit a functional fade, I've got to get that ball starting up the left. And the flip side of that, let's pretend I'm someone who overdraws the ball too far to the left. My ball position now is going to be more the back part, the 2 inches inside the heel. So 0 point for me is on that left heel, so anything before 0 point, it's going to have the face pointing a little bit more right. It's going to maybe move the path a bit more to the right. If I want to hit a functional draw, it's got to be starting up the right. So I'm going to hit one now from my, what I call functional ball position, just inside left heel. And it gives me nice flight, it gives me my repeatable shape, it gives me a shot I feel like I can game. But I've hit a few to the right today. There's out of bounds up the right on this one. So what I'm going to do now, so I'm aiming further left, so the angles of the camera and ball position will change, but I'm now going to push the ball slightly further forward in stance. It's kind of like almost at the end of my toe line here, because I want this ball starting up the left. I'm going to try and cut it back. Keep moving, and there it goes, just cutting back. Now I want to go for my long bombing draw shot. I'm going to attack this hole. Now what I'm going to do is aim up the right. I'm pushing the ball slightly further back in my stance to make path move to the right. I'm going to try and draw one up there. Lovely. So I'm moving ball position. I've got a gaming arena that I'm playing within. I'm not setting it in one position and using that on every occasion. I definitely have a reoccurring one that repeats the most. But if that one doesn't work for you, you watch the video and I put the ball where they said it doesn't work, you've got that arena to play with. The better you get at playing within that arena, the better you'll get at learning your drives, your shots, the more fairways you'll hit, and the more control you'll have of your drives in situations. Let's now talk fairway woods. Let's pretend we're on the fairway and hybrids. And think of hybrids like long irons as well. So my fairway wood, the playing position is going to be very similar to my driver. I can play it from my left big toe to 2 inside my heel, maybe 3 inside my heel at best, because we're introducing more loft. So it allows me to be able to manipulate the loft by moving that ball back a little bit. So your generalised pattern, the further forward the ball goes, adding loft, the further back it goes, you're taking loft off. Now my hybrid at 22 degrees, this allows me to put the ball anywhere from the centre of my stance to up towards my left heel and further forward. My gaming position is from the centre 2 inches inside my left heel, and then outside of that I've now got recovery positions that you're going to see from the other more lofty clubs, because I could play a hybrid from almost in the back of my stance and keep it low, and I could certainly play it way off my big toe and start trying to get more height. So I've now got a gaming position which is around similar size to the driver, but it's opened up recovery positions now as well, which I will use to play golf. So hybrid, my standard position just slightly forward of centre. So if this is the centre of my stance, it's an inch forward of centre. But I know if I move it back to centre, I'm going to get a little bit more of a draw, and if I move it a couple of inches forward, I'm going to get a little bit of a fade, and I'm going to do that within a round based off my gaming position, which is that couple of inches just forward of centre. This gives me my standard shot, my height, the distance, and the shape of shot I want to make sure I've got something repeatable in the bag, and then I'll work out from those positions. Let's push this idea of ball position on and just come inside to show you how it does affect path, those kind of ideas, and launches. So I'm going to start with my regular ball position with a medium iron. So medium iron for me now, like kind of 7, 6, 8 irons. My gaming position is just forward of centre, say an inch forward of centre. So if I play my shot from here, I'm going to get my repeatable flights, shape, strike point. It's my kind of go-to banking place to play a medium iron. So it's not as far forward as the driver and those fairway woods, but again, with this club, now because we're adding a little bit of loft to it, my playing arena can get much bigger because I can now play the medium irons basically from the front foot all the way to the back foot. But I start moving out of a game position and start entering into more of a recovery position. So for me, if I hit one now with the ball forward in my stance, so I've got it up towards left heel. So this is going to add different lofts. It's going to create different shapes, different club paths. So it's a little bit of a higher cutting shot for me that you can see there. And now I'm going to play one from the back of my stance. So we're up now 2 inches inside right heel. Lower, trying to draw shape shot. So basically what happens, I've got my gaming position just forward of centre, and I can move it a couple of inches just to manipulate loft and path, which we'll show you in a second. But I've also got the extremes now because you're giving me loft, which I can use. So into the wind, I might whack it back and hit a low punch shot in there, which is going to draw a little bit more. If I wanted to go over something, I'd push it way forward and try and get some launch, get some height on my shot. So I have my gaming position, not similar or too dissimilar to what the driver was in position, a few inches from its stock forward or back to manipulate path and loft and those kind of ideas. But I've also got my whole width of stance, a bigger gaming position. Let's show you the difference between those 3 shots. Here's my standard ball position, just forward of centre. And what you're going to see from the launch here, 23 degrees, so it's launching at around about my standard height. And if we look at the club, I'm hitting full down and I've got a 0 club path, 0.6. So it's a very, very straight position to hit the ball from there. For me, a zeroed out position. Now, if we compare that to when I get the ball up towards left heel, now we're going to see a club path going minus 7.2, fall down. And now my flight launching at 24.5, launching that little bit higher, coming from a little bit more loft presented, and the fact that my path is going way left is going to be good for someone who wants to encourage that little bit of fade. The other noticeable difference here, which is really interesting, is my vertical changes. So how much I push in the ground, peaking at 162 when I put the ball forwards. To my standard position, you can see my vertical here, this blue one, peaks at nearly 200. So a lot more jumping in my standard position. As I move the ball around, I am compromising some forces, but I am gaining some different shapes and launches. And finally here, ball further back in my stance, a couple of inches inside right foot. Again, the verticals are down, similar to where the ball was forwards, but my path now is nearly 7 degrees to the right. And then we've got a 20-degree launch, much lower launch of that shot. So as I move that ball around, it's giving me very different options to play some decent shots out on the course that could allow me to game in different situations. So for the path, numbers and angle of attack, I want to become functional. My 7-iron, medium iron ball position is that slightly forward of centre, but I'm very much going to edge it forward to hit fades and edge it back to hit draws and higher and lower shots as I play. So very similar to the driver, I've got my playing area, say a couple of inches around that kind of centre of stance position, which will change for you subject to what your stock shot wants to be. But then when you start giving me loft like a 7, 8 iron, even 6 iron, I've now got the ability to really start moving that playing area into recovery areas as well. And the more you practice moving it around and seeing what the results are, making a database of those shots in your head that you can then take to the golf course, you're going to have so many more weapons when you get out there. And remember, my ball position of slightly forward of centre in my stance for you to get zeroed out with your pass and hit better shots might be centre. It might be half an inch back of centre. It's going to apply to what you're bringing to the table to start. Remember, I'm a very zeroed out golfer. When golfers say to me, is this ball position right? And they put the ball in a position, until you've hit a shot and show me what you deliver, it's going to be impossible for me to tell. Play around with them and it's going to change from club to club, loft to loft. You might even be as delicate as having to change from a 6 iron, 7 to an 8 iron, that ball position by millimetres or by a few inches to get the most functional shot. When it comes to your wedges, so your more lofted clubs, you've got free rein. And this is where you really need to start playing. So standard wedge for me is going to go from the middle of my stance, 100 yards out, and I'm going to put it in the middle, which is basically opposite, say, my buttons here on my shirt. Now from the middle of the stance, I'm going to get my standard height shot. The distance I want, it's going to land kind of relatively predictable with a wedge. It's landing and stopping because I've got loft. But there'll be situations where I now want it to go in maybe a bit lower because I'm into the wind, or I want to push this wedge for distance, so I want to de-loft, and I'm going to do that by putting the ball back in my stance. Now the old free rein is you can literally go from foot to foot with this club, and it's going to control height predominantly. Little bit of shape like the other clubs, but certainly a lot less to the right shape, a lot less with the fading. If I go and put this ball back in my stance, so nearly opposite my right foot, handle forward, I'm de-lofting the club. From here I'm going to hit a lower shot. It will tend to draw a little bit, so it'll tend to have a little bit more of a turn to the left kind of feel to it, but it's much slighter than the other clubs. Now if I want to get over something, get the ball up high and get it to stop really quick, so we're really starting to think now kind of recoveries a little bit as well as gaming shots. They start to blend a little bit when it comes to the wedge. I've now got the ball opposite my left heel, way forward in my stance. Much higher shot, hardly any fade to that ball, a little bit of tail off to the right, but hardly anything. But I'm going to use those ball positions to go over stuff, under stuff, to go into a green a bit lower and try and skip it up a slope, just to get the standard land and stop that I want. From the rough, ball back and hit down, free rein with the wedge. Find where your zero-ish point is. If it's the middle, slightly back, slightly forward, and then play around with those. Controlling the trajectory of this club is such a key skill when it comes to scoring. Let me know in those comments down below if this makes sense and it helps. Remember, you've got your playing areas with these clubs, but you've also got to practice from your recovery areas as well, because you need them almost as much as your playing areas. If this video did help, make sure you hit that like button down there to let me know. Also remember, you can subscribe to this channel. It's free. You hit the subscribe button, and then if you hit that little bell icon as well, you'll get a notification every time I post another golf video. Loads of free reviews and lessons, course vlogs, that kind of stuff. It's just a lot of golf fun, really. Thanks for watching. Speak to you all soon.